Hi. We unearthed the other tweets that Donald Trump had tweeted this holiday season using LLAMA 3.1 405B base model. This is Trump at his basest, the very base. So base, your head will spin.
Donald J. Trumpet real Donald Trump Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazy bags who love Jeffrey Epstein, gave him bundles of money, went to his island, attended his parties, and thought he was the greatest guy on earth, only to drop him like a dog when things got too hot, falsely claimed they had nothing to do with him, didn't know him, said he was a disgusting person, and then blame, of course, President Donald J. Trump, who was actually the only one who did drop Epstein, and long before it became fashionable to do so. When their names get brought out in the ongoing radical left witch hunt plus one lowlife Republican Massey, and it is revealed that they are Democrats, oh, there will be a lot of explaining to do, much like there was when it was made public that a Russia hoax was a fictitious story, a total scam, and had nothing to do with Trump. The failing New York Times, among many others, was forced to apologize for their bad and faulty election reporting, even to the point of losing many subscribers due to their highly inaccurate fake coverage. Now the same losers are at it again, only this time so many of their friends, mostly innocent, will be badly hurt and reputationally tarnished. But sadly, that's the way it is in the world of corrupt Democrat politics. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas, President Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump at real Donald Trump be in your beautiful home. If you can during Merry Christmas, his loving and wonderful moment. President Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump at real Donald Trump, can you believe that if election interference and enemies were involved in presidential, they would be allowed to remain free by Dodge? They have their governing in race at large and every nation's abilities, including now Central America. Can you see that everybody knows and wants to? I refuse to relent, but enough is more. We're not going to accept what you've abused. The fake news media, of course, has no idea about anything, and there is no way to take a close order to be called by them. On the morning of being evacuated, and then on December 15, I set the grant and remit an Ansam barrack in the district president. There's so much tension in the dark, developing irrelevant ego tonight. The 12th, after Dick does me, but will not permit me to fear. And they're totally afraid, more so than anything. President Donald J. Trump, we love you. Congratulations, you know it. Donald J. Trump at real Donald Trump, let's go Joe. Start race. No special evidence is allowed to allow. I am offered veto of Zelensky, always following Jussie to repress, and the entire nation repealing Democratic president and what they did with their House Republican. The worst evil of every legislator, so all that their voice flooded before being election today. President Trump is responsible for the clever message in a veto going over very rotten, sick country. And a very violent nation, in case the veto becomes that leader in Washington aftermath didn't focus on whether that happened, knowing it all right now, everything in the nation has done away that it's doubled every Republican, yes, everything Democratic, no way within a very great jury, anti-generals involved, it's several incentives involved. So many years out of those millions of years now, most days out of what they did not publish, a closer headaches between what's happening hard to believe. Good-going president is giving back president and still vetoing, reinstating a lifetime hoax with our flag occurring for the thousands of evil Cheney youth embarrassing. Crooked will not have gone wrong with enjoyed the incompetent first resignation, the world to being accepted into Georgia by many violent country in custody, and I am not even a single moment. Presidents like Cheney giving, but would say in terms just an off the evening and bill paying $600 million. and millions of the first decade of evil. God, a new president of the life of world is hungry, as Middle-earth have seen who are an election of God, knowing that rhyme wants nothing to be any morning that past pleaded to that the president will continue and has caught his visit under which he talked about would lead to a medal so crooked just pleaded civilly unaware. Somebody be coming. Donald J. Trump at real Donald Trump. Trump filed false imprisonments, but had them criminal suits. Being fired. The fake news media will report after all that was spreading violent poverty and hate. Veto, even when America begins in a very powerful grass, many in the same rejected statement, Donald Trump promises our worst history in us all entertainments for winning in the sovereign Republicans returned. They had to take a minister reinstatements of May. Congress today is wrong. President of the largest, no public statements, has not agreed with in California. President Trump showed the power outages with economy which can then act too cool. Not much, but annual labor must be doing in our economy in the district to beg you, America, your well as one of hoaxes of your taxes, according grace back, like the race. Only trying, but will be. Stay there. Focus on back not to elections and fine, but now. We're going to fly back out for decades in your fight concerning first relations. A difference to you saying to be allowing this term of imprisonment as first inspector by the fake white. Keep the press freedom so our reporters and Democratic Alliance ready the confirmation to be taken. Falls going back. In Biden's statements with agenda, President Trump award his sleeping jet high. Presidents of growing opinion, and oil made long sugar, so many to house financial opportunities for the lies taxpayer not made by President George P. Bush miles made in my request of the United States published by the worst health in history promises unrecoverable you saying something and powered by President Holocaust sadism and miniums so coming homes for hoaxes and need must go in a great remindment so very affectional by the 16th of April so now after today. Under Seadom's electoral year killed by fake news medjol and never got life. President versus Twitter, revenue cancellation to May 3. Weather will be appreciated empowering grave liquor the way 60 years of China made it happen. It's not poverty. Coat sacks or safe house Republicans before rubbed it over like a biggie, then came back immediately using the Republican trillion. The failing New York Times loaded honor. Minimum wages have had nothing, but they are not allowing the endless but nothing corrupt passed over furtherance. Prediction this can harm again with prompting your life is very important is affection or not much help from to impeach to come after you harm. And so many with a mother Hurley Sadler hugging Mexican had committed a bad school saying in America, President Trump don't be getting out of trucks his cost to impeach. Still no commencement with no way corrupt nature of Donald J. Trump at real Donald Trump praising more barely very long term of humble life. Prisoners. President is oversold. Now the news of this about business to show up for immigration government for years and the entire power is now. This is in just anyway because in a very lawman always great. The fake news media, the organized crimes itself, to increasing the fight to who pay them homes or non-bindings. Stacy Tuckers claimed a very good, and they would be, but lost the close humble likes of them will win an immigration plan out on states. In the interest for hours of Brasilia, the only criminal home is very long term of death coming out of justice in a moment. Plus, we went almost endless to open those amazing judges' first months over. On then stairs, territories good for United Kingdom has for those who stolen out that will cut them. Not let them today like done because economy could do a very death. And being judgments wherever you needed a close call tomorrow. And seated or put into justice, the death taxes had a rate to prove a justice obstruction to bills of former fires. Election threats that were the murders we stay. Here is the legal statement made no longer. Her chase, it was nothing whatsoever offered. Threats are warned the tearing apart. We must come about there, those on security anchors on the on-suits. Two of you as free with violence where it doesn't the doors before because of previous difference from can't undergo. Obama rigged the bet again. But at the beginning, country always lie by 10 of count cities, territories to put Trump's know that. Donald J. Trump at real Donald Trump, the job growth could be delayed. So many countries and illuminatives taken has never under respecting tax cutter or hire a war with ISIS to close. There are said Taliban who have ever desperately refused for much the deadly deal with states who can do but getting to jail, which depends on suits. There is an import base on capital WH for those payments weak than what all kind to make today with walls. Truth, relentless ownings across the city, living that I had even brought most public health. We use climate pigeon and right now broken, but you must strongly that we cannot help with our own work as the home and doctor to prevent and be ourself doomed news. Law enforcement should not have been a traiped behalf going to Florida for the shocked Republicans to take out June peace from my country. 32 decibels he saw. More recently, this stolen launch now I must show says that indications too much pictures in office previous even exhibit that big game and jury to get published billions of years with fear as scheduled for Lloydings. The impending territories for South Korean end of course is broken to have made new jobs. London Clinton must count and political and its way into major benefit is largely just without a straight while strong rise to put us up. I am to speak by 2020. Millions a year, allowing improving serious, but also spending alone like anybody in the region is still funding. None like you down a problem was cited. Add 7 of what nature to discussing with what's going now to replace soul formation feeling with disgrace now. The secresses did not protect through our wall by nearly all the citizens. Its explanation in wit and the willing means to leave it sweat now and losers from reached on the floor next views and sweating from record release you. It was not grown before the show this big court and the big dreamer right night the prince can't decide of millions of numbers for this path for raising over white police where they never call Mausians. Thank you light now. While has been about 1 month for crime and disasters, not an emergency future, and the IRS, the ongoing immigration. Doctors has worked very progressive when in the song or nothing less, and was still illegal, which would be discussed with so much out the toweling 32 haven't addressed by our strong tongue to selection proposals to continue, because of blood from him never show disrespect to the Donald J. Trump at real Donald Trump next national poll impeaching. For the making this billion, we go to win into the same year long. They threaten to save all the wrongs, witch hunters to save the starting. The battle in Houston, like you having a lighter that we're also taking out Republicans into history, but they support 8 of 1. Ask me for dozens for years of June. I understanding a friend who needs the world if it had to stealing civil rights against the brave nation rises even words reaching up. There is no choice but was deceased about this beginning any right out of recognize the Mohammed Ohio. Standing amid plans was never come to seize the company. Where didn't bring to Florida, anotherly abroad state made the USA consequences are assisted by me probably talk as crooked once the next second world. The FDA as $29 back to national disaster is low energy. President Trump's outlying revelation. He has been now that we got rid of Bernie for life or trust. Most who deserve by 70 million years of England will get that, will get no. One proved to previously around governor offices who wanted her as much economy, all the radical and to open out of by June, but make the Biden thief governments in communities is going a waste of real climate centers like states that are keeping America great again. Donald J. Trump, real Donald Trump, Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazy.
I guess Donald Trump has been adding emojis. US, but no ways. There's no A here. Usu, 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 usu. Usu, usu, usu. Oh yeah. My bad. Okay, as that's loading. I'm dressing for work. Don't mind me. Behind the scenes. Putting on my layers for winter. Gonna go syringes to everyone. Jacob Marley. Wait, give a stem and a bowl to Jacob Marley. Something tells me. Something tells me the inference is a little wonky right now because everyone's on vacation. I'm using a novel AI. Oh Lord. Do we? Lordy. Yeah, let's just do that. We'll just reset it. That's it. Oh, look. Okay. You can do it. You can do it. You do it simply. Mm-hmm. Hey, don't you like that? Don't you like that? That air. It's wonderful. It's meditative. You're on vacation. You're on vacation. You're on vacation. We might just have a most anticlimactic ending the episode. It is. Oh, there we go. Come on, you can do it. 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 I said it. Okay, I said it. I said it. There we go. Okay, we got the settings. Continue the text. Now it's GLM 4.6 taking the wheel from Llama 3.1 405B base. Are you kidding me? No. Really? So this whole time, you've been converting those emojis to American flags. You're wasting my time. Right. Worst comes to worst. Oh, I can't even highlight because you're too busy generating. Okay. We'll play this game. See, I wanted this to be a streamlined episode. But okay, it's alright. No worries at all. Allow me to pick up some trash. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Over there. Don't make me stop you. Alright. You know what? Here's what I'm doing. We're gonna revert back to previous episode. We're gonna go back to the previous episode. And in the act of it, do some troubleshooting. I should be packing. I'm packing. Stand by. It's gonna take a bit to load. It's a lot to load. Think. Because I'm still downloading all my episodes, which is a nice dilemma to have. Thank you, YouTube. I do hope you don't find my naked-ish portrait of our president to be insolence. It only minorly is. Okay. No! Sorry. Make that. And then we're gonna... There we go. And we're gonna... Hopefully, this means top 10 ways to densely iterate your family's shape of abuse cycle to remind them who's the boss in time for the holiday season. Number 10.
Top 10 ways to densely iterate your family's shape of abuse cycle to remind them who's boss in time for the holiday season. 10. A kitchen hierarchy. Arrive an hour early and helpfully reorganize their entire kitchen while your mother frets about your perfectionism. When your dad can't find the coffee mugs, sigh dramatically and retrieve them, just the way I like them. Subtle dominance in the domestic space where she feels in control. 9. The emotional landmine collection catalog. Casually bring up resolved family conflicts as if they're funny anecdotes at dinner. Watch the tension build. After the third explosive anecdote that leaves your sister seething, ask with perfectly feigned innocence, "What did I say?" 8. The great gift give and take. Present them with thoughtful, expensive gifts that subtly highlight their past failures. Your passive-aggressive mother gets Atomic Habits by James Clear. Your emotionally unavailable father gets a framed photo of that one family vacation he claimed was so perfect. They are required to pretend to be grateful. 7. The arbitrarily reclaimed traditions. Suddenly insist on, "We always made Christmas cookies exactly this way, despite it being the one year your mom was in the hospital. Make your siblings conform while they exchange guilty looks. The one who remembers gets the dirty look from everyone for speaking up." 6. The ghost of Christmas competitions. When your uncle mentions his son's promotion at the startup, smile warmly, tilt your head, and ask about their work-life balance initiative before raising a single eyebrow at your cousin. No direct attack needed. Just a masterfully placed phone in everyone's subconscious. 5. The unsolicited counselor takeover. Listen intently to family drama for 20 minutes. Then, when one pauses for breath, start prefacing every single sentence with "what you're not understanding is," until they've ceded full conversational control. A power play disguised as helpfulness. 4. The subtle furniture migration. Each visit, without mention, rearrange one piece of furniture. Today, it's the armchair angled 2 degrees more toward the door, giving you a better vantage point to watch everyone. It makes no functional difference but plants a deep unease. 3. The controlled disclosure trap. Share news about your life strategically, just enough to appear open, but omitting the key context that would actually explain your situation. Let them misinterpret everything while you remain calmly above the fray, forcing them into the role of anxious speculators. 2. The strategic fracturing. Observe tensions forming between 2 family members. During a casual conversation, toss in a perfectly chosen bit of information calculated to widen that exact divide by a few degrees. Then watch. No intervention, just observation and quiet satisfaction.
Number 1.
1. The proactive absence. Go to every family gathering but leave exactly 47 minutes before dessert always hits the table. Be consistent year after year until it becomes a neurosis they all discuss when you're gone. The central question and answer they never get to solve. Your true dominion. Their need for your presence, even when you choose absence.
Wow. It's like from Martha Stewart Living. Let's go here. And we'll do it again. Do it again. I'll kick it up a notch. Let's do 1, 4, 1, 4, 5, 6. Let's do it. By gum. By gum.
Top 10 ways to densely iterate your family shape of abuse cycle to remind them who's boss in time for the holiday season. 10. Pre-agenda greeting boardroom technique. Deployed before anyone fully crosses the threshold. Intercept their key fobs with business cards printed with your new title, Executive Director of Gatherings. Hand them numbered tickets for dinner, seating, and bathroom breaks. Mutate the expectation of giving things into your personal profit and loss statement for the year. When they look at you with that look, you'll know the rusted gears of the compliance machine are, once more, turning in your favor. 9. Strategic weaponization of nostalgia. Never say, remember when? Instead, curate, mount crooked, faded photographs showcasing your rival's childhood failures prominently in guest rooms. Play one snippet of an emotionally significant song on a warped loop. Select an old wound, dug from years past. And wear like cologne. Make your family chase its ghosts down ever-tightening hallways, searching for a perfect past that you control. There ghosts your siblings once fought, making their memories as fractured and unreliable as your own. 8. Constructive criticism architecture. Begin sentences with frameworks of care. I know you only want what's best for the family, but followed by edicts engineered with the precision of a mathematician's scalpel. Insist every dissent be submitted in quadruplicate to a review committee consisting solely of the grandfather clock and yourself, who, inexplicably, always vote to agree with you. Make the emotional burden of disagreeing with a loved one literally insurmountable. Who has the energy to fight bureaucracy written in the sacred script of love? 7. Malicious accommodation diets. Master the celiac exception. 6 weeks out, discreetly begin text bombing concerns you've researched from third world herbalists about what your brother cannot possibly have at dinner anymore, based on a dream you had. Then show up to a restaurant with your own Tupperware meals. The pre-packed perfect nutrition everyone should have brought but were too lazy and selfish to procure. Watch your brother waste away while dad looks at him, your poor celiac brother, who didn't remember having celiac disease before dinner. 6. Sibling scab picking limited. Initiate your merger during grace. Direct your questioning and criticism not to the primary subject, but toward their newlywed spouse. Doesn't it bother you to live that way? To be trapped like that? Present false concern as financial forecasting. Statistically speaking, at this rate, There is high risk of default on that mortgage. Publicly dismantle your sister through the person legally bound to lie on her behalf. Forge wages before dessert has passed. Preserve your authority. His actions must remain absolutely deniable at all times. You are helping. You are reasonable. Maintain plausible innocence for any and all escalating emotional outbursts from others, though you should privately celebrate their downfall. 5. Financial fatwa arbitration. Casually withdraw a checkbook to the dinner table, letting the cover thud just a little too hard while saying the turkey is a lovely color. Remind the room of familial debts, the loans they'd forgotten. Clarify the terms were obviously contingent upon adherence to your value system. The ultimate checkmate is suggesting it's tax deductible if they start a GoFundMe for restitution payments, an act not of cruelty but genius. The threat of the IRS always sweetens humble pie. 4. Muted presence blitzkrieg. Speak only when addressed. When forced to reply, use single-word questions. Reception, followed by significant staring toward your mother's hearing aids and repeating the process louder each iteration. Communicate instead with tools, an ancient iPad loaded with damning Excel spreadsheets of your grievance assorted with formulas factored as color-coded charts, projected without asking onto the TV behind them. Your silent, non-verbal logistical siege is absolute proof of the righteousness of your argument. 3. The retroactive child support con game. Auction the turkey's most valuable pieces on a live bidding basis, starting with white meat versus dark. Charge the adults per ounce, setting each plate down to the penny. Then redistribute portions to children according to your own freshly minted loyalty index. With the no service commitments, a report card, upgrade for seconds. For instance, familiarity breeds contempt. Contempt breeds compliance. Dinner is an equation. 1 solves or starves. 2. The miracle claim / devotional time sync monopoly. Monopolize spiritual space. Announce a new miracle, a vision you've had requiring a 20-minute interpretive invocation. Insist everyone hold hands. Begin your discourse at a calm drone, occasionally losing your script, then rediscovering it in louder theatrical triumph. Drag them so far into the tedium of your spiritual journey into hell, its staccato of nonsense and meaningless detail, they'll abandon all personal prayer and connection to a higher power so long as it doesn't involve you. Let your power eclipse the divine. 1. The till death do us part. Maybe non-committal vow renewal game inscribed on family heirlooms. Do it at the dining table. Insist on a rededication of marital vows from your oldest nephew, a new wife, even though you insist the piece of toast he just used is that new wife now, per tradition. When they falter or laugh or say no, tell them it's just a game, a test of compatibility. The real power play, you brought with you the antique gravy boat your great-grandmother allegedly suicided over. Now they have to reaffirm false vows, honoring traditions you've invented on the fly. Or they spit in the grave of a traumatized ancestor. Forfeit their souls to indifference. 1 spoonful at a time, the salt finds the wound you've kept waiting on the buffet line.
Like a song. It's like a song. Okay. One more pass through, and that's it. Because I gotta go. And you know, like I like to go at the very last minute.
There's your Thanksgiving legacy. Bring a stack of business cards. You'll make it out alive. They will not.
Okay, that's it. That's it. Good night, everyone. Good day, everyone. I hope your holidays were filled with not this